Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the RTBG show. My name is Jason Lee. I am your host for this podcast, and in this podcast we talk about productivity, creativity, and lifestyle. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure you don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss another episode. Alright, so today we'll be talking about the worst way you can make friends, either online, in real life, at work, at school, whatever. But it doesn't really matter, but the way that you make that new relationship, if you create pity, if you're seeking for pity from other people or you're seeking empathy from other people, it's probably one of the worst way that you can ever make new friends. Before I jump in, I just want to say, hey, the purpose of this episode isn't meant to be calling anybody out. I'm not here to bash anybody. If you do this, like I'm not here to slam it in your face that you're the most annoying person on the planet Earth. No, if there's anybody that would be ashamed from this episode, it would be me, because I literally spent a couple years doing this, and this is why this topic is so important to me, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. It's mainly because this is just a bad way to make friends, and there are multiple ways to make friends, and I'm here to tell people about it. So here are some examples that what people might say when they're seeking out for pity. Not only are these people telling themselves negative things, negative vibes, negative thoughts, but they're also telling other people the things about themselves as well. They're always constantly describing themselves as, I'm horrible, I'm useless, I'm talentless, I'm poor, I'm not handsome, I'm not pretty, I'm not cool, I'm very unlucky. Everything around me just hates me. So that is the kind of mentality that people have when they're trying to seek for pity, they're trying to seek for empathy towards other people, and that's how they think a relationship should start, right? And also a lot of people do this because the other party has like a higher social status, or in their mind has a higher value than themselves. There are two main reasons why people should never do this. Number one, you are creating an imbalanced and very unhealthy relationship. In life and in everything else, there needs to be a balance, right? A yin and yang. And the balance that I'm talking about in this type of relationship at the beginning is about respect. If your initial purpose is to try to seek empathy, by starting out the relationship between you and whoever you want to talk to, you are creating this super imbalanced relationship that really isn't going to benefit you or that person as well. Because at the beginning, you already put yourself at the low point, and therefore that person perceives you at a lower status and as someone who is in need of help. And in most of the cases, you probably don't. And this kind of relationship isn't really good, because you lose, number one, you lose respect from that person, and they do not also view you as equal. So number two is because you are bringing yourself down more and more. Alright, even though our brain only takes up less than 10% of our whole total body mass, it uses over 50% of our total energy. If you really think about that, it is a crazy amount of joules that has to go through our brain. And there's a good reason for that. Our brain is super powerful, and when you relate to negativity, you become negativity, right? If you tell yourself you're ugly, if you tell yourself you're not cool enough, if you tell yourself you're not confident enough, then your brain is gonna accept that as a new reality, and you're gonna only see that you're only gonna see yourself as whoever you tell your brain. A lot of the time, people judge themselves way more than any person. A lot of the time, people judge themselves way more times than any other person on planet Earth would. And most likely, people underestimate their own value a lot of the time. And most likely, and I don't care whatever you think you are, but I know that you are amazing, you are beautiful, you are freaking incredible. And when people say about themselves, when people say that they're not good enough, right? When they tell themselves, they tell their brain that, hey, I'm only to this level. You can only go to this level of competency, this level of confidence, and this level of understanding. You are literally becoming that person that you're telling your brain to be. You're confirming with yourself that, hey, you are this and this, and But why starting a relationship with someone else? You are confirming that you are this person. Let's say you failed at something, right? Let's say you failed at a project that meant the world to you. You think you're the worst person on the planet Earth. You're the most not successful. You're the, the worst version of yourself right now. But if you see somebody is amazing, someone who is incredible, right? You want to get to know them so that you can know their secrets, and then you can be successful, right? So what do? You seek them, yes, as a higher position, and acknowledging that is not a bad thing. However, if you see that person as a more value, as a human being more than you, and this not only is going to bring you down, but also confirms, also telling your brain, hey, I am this, I am that, and I'm only going to say that way. And that is not how you should be starting any relationship with anyone at all. And also what I like to refer to as the trap of pity. And the trap of pity basically goes that the other person doesn't give you compliments and also doesn't completely contradict your statements. They sometimes know that it's kind of true, right? In their eyes, maybe they do see you as a lesser being, or a less of a human being than them. So what do? They give more empathy. A lot of the time people fell into the trap of actually liking that empathy, like loving to hear the other person says, hey, it's gonna be all right, it's gonna be fine, or they giving you love that you haven't felt in a long time, or that person gives you the attention that you've never gotten before because they empathize for you. They see that you are in trouble. So therefore you like that. You like that attention. So what do? What do your brain do? The brain spits out even more negativity, even more bad thoughts. So that you can get more empathy from whoever that is or who that group is, and then the cycle repeats on and on and on. And it's kind of like a drug if you really think about it, because our brain really loves attention. Like, human beings are social beings. We're meant to talk to people, right? We're a social species. So therefore, the more empathy that it gets, the more attention that it gets, your brain is going to try and accommodate for that, and therefore spits out more and more negativity. And guess what? It's going to be a downward spiral until eventually you're going to hit rock bottom. And I don't think that's going to be good for anybody at all. Now do you see why? Seeking for that empathy and pity is such a bad way to start off any relationship at all. For me personally, the best way to start off a relationship with anyone, a mentor, a friend, an elder, or a younger person, or someone who I think has a better success than I am, is to approach them with kindness. Approach them with the way that you want to be treated. The way that you treat the other person gives them the reason to also treat you the same nice. If they don't, that's fine. Now, if you're going to keep seeking for the empathy and pity, not only are you going to be perceived as useless to that person, but that person is also going to give you less value if you would have just valued yourself first before trying to start that new relationship or friendship, right? So what I would do, right, a lot of the times in elementary school and middle school, what I would do to start up a new friendship is to try to make myself like I am a complete loser to everybody. I don't know how to do math. I told them that I needed help, that I needed the attention, and it worked for literally like 3 months. And the friendship that I had with a lot of them was super toxic, and they had no respect for me while I was just craving for that attention. So how can you make friends and new relationships without seeking for that pity or without making yourself the lesser human being? It's a self-respect and self-love, right? These two things are so important in any relationship, because without self-respect and self-love, which can only be earned and not given, right? Self-love is something that you have to train yourself so many times. Self-love is also self-discipline, and self-respect is that relationship with yourself. The amount of respect that you have for yourself is important so that you can set the tone when you talk to whoever that is. If you respect yourself at a certain level, the other person will reflect on that as well. If you don't respect yourself at all or love yourself at all, then you cannot expect anybody to treat you equal, right? If I see somebody who says that he or she doesn't know anything, he or she doesn't have enough friends, he or she does not have enough confidence, do you guys really think that I'm going to treat them as equal as somebody who loves themselves, who knows that he can push through any challenges that life gives him? No, right? Because that person who values themselves much more seems like the person who knows what they're doing and also needs the least help. And also that person who loves themselves is also somebody who is admirable. So being somebody who loves themselves, being somebody who respects themselves is one of the keys if you want to have a good relationship with your friends, with your spouse, with your children, with your business partners, anybody at all. So it's that self-love and self-discipline that is really important. And this is probably one of the most life-changing quotes that I've ever heard from my friends, and actually not online. It is that you can't give what you don't have. If you're not going to give the other person any empathy or any kind of value, then you can't really expect the other person to give you the same kind of warmth and empathy and respect as you would like to. Alright, so that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you guys do really enjoy it. I personally do enjoy a lot of the things that I make here. And if you guys do have any suggestions or questions, feel free to DM me at LeeJason. That is my Instagram handle, LeJasonn_. If you do really enjoy this episode, make sure you don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you're listening to this podcast or any of your podcasts at all. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.